Hi everybody from Notebook Italia, welcome to the review of this mini PC inTV i9. This is the quad-core CPU for this mini PC. So let's start with the unboxing and let's open up the box to see what we have inside. So here we have the inTV i9. So just a quick look and let's put it aside to give a better look to what we have inside the box. So the box is very, simple. We have nothing but this quick manual, and we have, of course, the USB to micro USB cord and the power plug with an output of 1.5 ampere. So that's all for the box. So let's give a look to the inTV i9 mini PC. We even have this small plastic cap just to cover the HDMI adapter. So just a quick look to the inTV i9, sorry. Okay, so on the left side we have the first micro USB port. This micro USB port is DC capable. I mean, it's the one, it's not DC capable, sorry, it's the one used to power up the inTV i9. Then we have the micro SD card slot, which officially support up to 32 GB. We have this function button, which is useful even to start up the device in firmware upgrade mode. On the left side we have nothing but the moving antenna here. On the back side we have the full-size USB port, which is USB host capable, which means that we can connect even mouse or even keyboard. And we have the other micro USB port, which is USB on the go, which means that we can connect pen drive here. Then on the upper side, of course, we have the HDMI port, which is even version 1.4, which means that we can output 3D movie from this i9. So we saw the outside of this i9. So let's analyze what we have inside. I mean, in terms of hardware specs. The CPU inside is the Rockchip 3188, which is Cortex A9 CPU. It's a quad-core CPU clocked at 1.6 GHz with the production service of 28 nanometers. Then we have the GPU, which is the well-known ARM Mali 400, used in some other devices like smartphone, for instance it's Galaxy S2 or even Galaxy S3. Here is clocked at 500 megahertz, sorry, so slightly overclocked. Then we have 2 GB of LPDDR3 memory, and we have 8 GB of internal storage. Of course, as I told you, we can even expand the internal storage via micro SD card slot here up to 32 GB. We have, of course, as you can see from the antenna, an integrated Wi-Fi capability for this i9. We have single mode, so we don't have a single band, sorry, we don't have dual band, so we can work on 2.4 GHz channel. And we have Wi-Fi ABGN support. We have, of course, integrated Bluetooth, and we have 3 USB ports, as I told you, 1 USB full size, 2 micro USB size port, and the HDMI 1.4 adapter. The i9 came to the market with version 4.1.1 Jelly Bean, but we can even upgrade to version 4.2.2. Of course, with the upgrade of version 4.2.2, we should even have Miracast support. We talked about the hardware of this device. Now let's see the software side. Let's start with a quick recap of the hardware, and we will see that here we have nothing but the Rockchip 3188 CPU, which is a quad-core CPU clocked at a maximum speed of 1.61 GHz, and we have the ARM Mali 400 multiprocessor. We have 2 GB of DDR3 memory. So these are all the technical specs, the really interesting technical specs of this inTV i9. So if we give a look to the software side, we see that we have the tablet interface, but if we give a better look, we can see that we have a slightly customization of the interface. We have different icons for what concern here, the classical buttons which are back, home and multitasking. We have of course the screenshot button here. We have this other button which is useful to completely hide the navigation bar, and we can perform a small gesture, keep pressing the left mouse button and performing this wipe up gesture from the lower hand to the device like this. We can reveal again the navigation bar. Then we have this button which is useful to shut down the device at all. So these are all the customization made to the interface. As you can see, we even have some customization for what concern the icons here in the settings menu. What is really more interesting is that we have this small arrow here just before the app drawer button. If we press it, we can choose between few themes. So we are using right now the Android ones. Let me show you what I get if I choose the wood theme. Here we go. Beside the wallpaper itself, we even have the icon changed like this. We have this small wood frame around the icons, which is quite nice. So we have, as you can see, different themes for what concern this UI. So this is the only real customization that inTV made for this i9. So beside the navigation bar icons or the settings icon, we have of course the icons of all the UI together with the wallpaper. For everything that matters, we have the stock UI interface after all. So we have the tablet UI here, as you can see, stock Android launcher. So we can use a widget, icon shortcut. We can create folders, of course. We even have the app drawer, although if I'm not wrong, we have a slightly more dense icon grid here. We have of course the widget tab. So this is nothing but stock Android UI. If we give a look to the settings, we can see that we have less settings inside this settings menu, rather than the same amount of settings that we could find in the, for instance, Ricomagic Mini PC. In the Ricomagic Mini PC, we even had the Ethernet sub-menu for what concern wireless networks, while as you can see here, we didn't have the Ethernet menu. Although, if you give a look to this small icon here on the right of the clock, you may see that we are already using an Ethernet cable. So, this inTV i9 doesn't have all the problem that the Ricomagic had for what concerned the Wi-Fi antenna. Nevertheless, if you really want a very good bandwidth for what concern 1080p streaming, for instance, the Ethernet cable is still the best way to go. Or you must be very close to your Wi-Fi router. In that way, you won't have problem even in using Wi-Fi connection. So we have then the settings dealing with the font size, the one dealing with the HDMI resolution. Like we can get up to 1080p 60 frames per second. We have the possibility to zoom the screen in or out depending on our TV or monitor, of course. So we have of course the screenshot settings menu, as I showed you before. We even have this storage menu. So let's give a look at it to see how the internal memory is parted. We have only 1 GB dedicated to the apps. We have this time 5.68 GB as data storage. It's a good thing that we can of course use microSD card slot to update the storage, or even we can connect of course USB storage like pen drive or even USB HD. If we go look to the app menu, we can see that even in this inTV i9 we can move apps to the SD card, which is very good given the fact that we only have 1 GB of internal storage. So that's one problem, and that's why I'm stopping here over the language and input settings. That's one problem with the keyboard. So I'm using this keyboard, the same that I've been using for the Magic review, and the problem is that this mini PC seems like it doesn't recognize at all the physical keyboard. As you can see, we don't have any settings dealing with the physical keyboards. This means, of course, that we cannot decide the layout of the keyboard, which in my case, we live in Italy. We have a dedicated layout, of course, with several old letters, and in this case we cannot use them at all. We cannot use even the email sign, which is not good at all. The @ sign of the email, I mean. So this is the one problem that could be solved using a custom ROM with a given program. So beside this small problem for concern, I mean, we can always use the keyboard, of course, but we have some problem in digitizing, for instance, the @ symbol. So we have then all the normal settings that we can find into the Android device, and as I told you, we have version 4.1.1. It's not that easy to find version 4.2.2 for this device, although the latest inTV i9 devices sold into the market already come with version 4.2.2. But if, like us, you have an old one coming with version 4.1.1, it's not easy to find the stock version 4.2.2. But of course, you can always find many custom ROM having 4.2.2. So this is for what concerns the UI of this device. Now we can talk about the performance. I've already reminded you about the hardware platform using CPU-Z, so let's give a look to the test that I performed with this device. Let's start a gallery just because I have the screenshot of the benchmark, nothing more. Okay, so let's start with Antutu. As you can see, we have a score. We scored 5,608, so a very good score for this rock chip. 3188, so that's more or less the same score that we had with the previous Magic. So it's a very good result, given the fact that we have not the top-notch, CPU or GPU actually into the Android ecosystem. Then, if we give a look to the Antutu result, sorry, we reached 18,371 points, so a very good score too here for this device. I mean, it's almost on par with the Google Nexus 10 and Xperia Z and something like this, so a very good score for this device. So as I showed you, we have good results for what concern synthetical benchmark, but what's up with everyday life, and how does this mini PC behave in everyday life? Let's see it running games as usual. We have here Shadowgun Dead Zone, and this Shadowgun Dead Zone has exactly the same problem that we have with the Magic chip. I mean, this device does support completely the Xbox 360 game controller that we will use in this small dedicated focus to the gaming capabilities, but the gamepad itself cannot be used for the starting menu here. Neither the mouse can be used to go on into this menu. So although the game does recognize the gamepad, we cannot even start it. This is really a pity. So there are not so many games running with the gamepad, so it's already a pity that there are not so many games using it. And it's even worse that the few of them are even unable to start just because we don't have the touch capabilities. This is something that does happen with these mini PC devices, not only with the inTV i9, of course. So let's see now that trigger made by the same software house of the Shadowgun Dead Zone. Here, as you can see, we don't have problem using the mouse to start the game. I've already set up, of course, the gamepad here, so we don't have problem in recognizing it and even using it. You can see how fast is the Rockchip 3188. It's extremely fast. And the gamepad is, perfectly recognized. I've already set up all the patterns so I can, even reload the weapon. I can aim, can shoot. Very, very good. It's it's a pleasure to play such a nice game using gamepad on TV. So this is one of the plus of using my PC like this inTV i9 with your TV. Very, very good. Fast, smooth, no problem at all. And this was, of course, that trigger. So let's go on and let's start Beach Buggy Blades. Beach Buggy Blades is the same game, This game does use perfectly the gamepad. We don't have any problem in starting the game. There's not even any kind of problem in, setting up the gamepad because it's already set up by the game itself. So the only things I've been setting up in this game is just the graphical details. Just let me show you in a second. I've set up the graphical details to the maximum possible level just to show you how good is this Rockchip in playing games. Okay, let's start. So as you can see, the game is running really, really well. We don't have any kind of problem. It's smooth, fluid. It's very, very enjoyable. And using the gamepad is the best things that we could do with such kind of game. Oops, I touched the wrong button here. The reset button to be more precise. So the game is very nice, as you can see, no problem. The only problem is me that I'm not able to play it, sorry guys. Okay, this is Beach Buggy Blades. So as you can see, very, very good result in games for this Rockchip 3188. And of course for the Armani 400, which is, even if it's not the latest GPU actually on the market, it's always very, very good solution to play games. And this one was Beach Buggy Blades. Now let's go on with the GP2, made by the same vector unit, so the same software house of Beach Buggy Blades, but this is a very, very recent game. And here you can appreciate all the graphic details, graphic texture and effect of the recent generation. So this is really interesting. Here the game itself has already set up the settings to the almost the maximum level possible. The graphical details are very good. Even the water effect, the transparency is really great. And it's such a pleasure to play this game with the gamepad, already set up by the games itself. Even here, look at the graphics, it's gorgeous really. Oops, I forgot to press the accelerate button. Okay, I will show you in a second the warp effect using the nitro here, as you can see. Wow, very, very good graphic details. The water effect are great. Transparency, it's really, really a pleasure to play this game with this Rockchip 3188. So well done, Rockchip. Okay, this was Riptide GP2. So I don't want to, get too boring playing for a long time game. So just want to show you the Rockchip performances. And here we start the last game I want to show you, which is Virtua Tennis. It's a very nice game, perfectly, using the gamepad. Perform exhibition match. I mean, we can use the gamepad since this presentation menu. Gamepad is running really fluid, and it's a very good game, nice graphic. It's not far from the same version made for better devices like, for instance, PS Vita, but we don't have, of course, here the licenses for well-known game like Nadal or someone like this. Okay, I love playing this game, guys. Sorry, maybe because I've been playing tennis for a few years and I love playing tennis. Okay, as you can see, very good games. The replay are very good. Okay, I'm almost destroying this poor guy. Okay, and this was Virtua Tennis. So a very good game. So as you can see, we have some games running with this rock chip, not too much to be honest, but there are even more games than this one I've showed you, but this one were the most interesting one, at least to me. So games running on this rock chip, when they don't have problem dealing with the touch input, they are very good, especially the one that you can perform using a gamepad. So let's see now another very interesting argument, which is the multimedia side. As every rock chip mini PC actually on the market using SDK 1.0, we have some micro stuttering while watching. Let me show you. I mean, it's nothing dramatic, but it's present, so I cannot but to tell you. And we can solve completely the situation as it was for the Rico Magic using a dedicated custom ROM with a custom kernel. So as you will see, we have hardware acceleration using third-party players like Dice Player, for instance. The video is even not bad, it's more or less smooth, but sometimes we have some micro stuttering. So as I told you, we have to use a custom ROM. Although using the new version 4.2.2, we will not completely solve the situation, but with a modified kernel. So just let me show you. This one was 1080p sample, and this one, the one is a 720p sample. Here it's a little bit more fluid and smooth than the 1080p, of course, but even here I could try some 720p movie that anyway had this stuttering problem. So it's not really dealing with resolution, and the 1080p is something that goes through every kind of resolution. Well, another interesting thing, it's dealing with XBMC. As we have here in this particular inTV i9 version 4.1.1, we cannot use but version 13.1 alpha 7, which is the latest alpha for XBMC. But if you update the device to version 4.2.2, or if you have bought recently the device, so you will have directly version 4.2.2, you can even use XBMC version 12.1, which is the latest stable version. Using version 12.1, the problem is that we don't have any hardware acceleration at all. While in version 31.1 alpha 7, which is the one I'm using now, we have a hardware acceleration at least for the 720p, which is the sample I'm showing you right now. But as you can see, it's not perfectly smooth nevertheless. So the real solution right now, or at least we have to wait for version 13 to come out, so with a stable version, of course, is to use version 12.1 but a modified XAF build. XAF build is really interesting because it lets you use a dedicated third-party player just for playing movies. So you will normally use the XBMC interface, but just when you decide to start playing a movie, you will use a dedicated third-party player like MX Player. So having the third-party player hardware acceleration itself, you shouldn't have any kind of problem. At least if you use a custom ROM, so you will, have completely stutterless experience. And this was the last things for what concerned the multimedia side of this device. Now another aspect that may be really interesting is the one dealing, of course, with the browser. Here we have the stock browser 2, which is very good to me. It's the most interesting browser. We have, of course, Flash support. We can request desktop side. I've already set up the Flash to the latest version, although we already have version 11 here installed by default into this inTV i9, but I've installed the latest 11 version. So I've set up the Flash plugin on request, and I will show you in a few seconds how does it behave using the Flash. The browser is extremely fast, as you may see. We didn't have any kind of problem. We can even perform double tap or double left click to have this, zoom in and zoom out. And let me show you now the, behavior with the Flash plugin enabled. So let's load this page, this review, and having, selected desktop side, we will have the YouTube Flash plugin client. Here we go. So we just have to press to enable the Flash plugin, and let's start a video. So as you can see, we don't have any kind of problem. The video is running. It's smooth, no problem. We can even, of course, zoom to full screen. But what is more interesting, is that we can continue browsing, and we don't have any, lag. As you may see, everything remains fast, smooth, no kind of problem. We can always perform double tap, so that's no problem, even when using the Flash player like this. So a very good browser implementation, even for this inTV i9 and the Rockchip 3188. So we see more or less the most interesting aspect of this inTV i9. So we can draw a line and talk about the cons and the pro. So let's start with the cons. We have, as I told you, good Wi-Fi, because we have even the external Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna. Nevertheless, in situations like this, where we are almost 3 meters away from the Wi-Fi router with a wall between us and the router, the best solution to stream 1080p video is still using an Ethernet connection. So although you can use Wi-Fi, and you can use it, not like into Irigo Magic, where you have really big problem with the Wi-Fi antenna and you have to take it out of the chassis. Here you don't have this kind of problem, but if you want really solid 1080p streaming, you need the Ethernet cable. Then, as I told you, we have some problem for what concerns the keyboard layout recognition, but you can even solve this situation like for the starting with the custom ROM. Then we have, of course, the video playback starting that I told you before, and we have the what I call the XBMC masks. But this kind of problem is common to all the mini PC now actually on the market. But even the situation can be solved using custom build of XBMC or using the alpha. As well as for what concerns the starting, you can use, we went out of focus, you can use the dedicated custom kernel just to solve the starting problem. Then there's some kind of subjecting problem, which is dealing with the fact that I had problem even in finding the right controller that suits me for better controlling this mini PC. But this may be even a more subjective problem. and the fact that some games still has problem with the mini PC, not the inTV i9 itself, but the mini PC in general. For what concerns the Pro, I mean, we have Android, which is, as you may see, the better Pro. The flash restarted playing, the browser is fast, we have 2 GB of RAM, so everything is smooth and it's really a pleasure to use, at least if you find the right controller for you. And even those games that are running really well with this Rico Magic 3188. So once more, with this inTV i9 we have a very good implementation of the mini PC idea. Here maybe one of the best, given the fact that we have even the external antenna, although it's not a problem-free solution, as you may see from the XBNC mess and the video stuttering problem. So here we are to the review of this mini PC inTV i9. Once more, thanks for watching and bye from Notebook Italia.